So, next up, we have Vintage Spring from the Vintage Story original soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. If you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, all that good stuff. A couple of disclaimers. Number one, this is my first time hearing this track, so I will be pausing a lot as I will be pointing things out as I hear it. And number two, this is recorded on a single take, live on stream, so I might stumble upon my words here and there, that kind of thing. So, let's see what we got here. Let's see, Vintage Story. Remind me to reply to you, Diplodos. Let's see here. Do you have your another camera to your left? No, it's just that this is where the chats are. Like, I have the camera, I look to my left because that's where the chats are, and the OBS preview. So we start with a fade... Oh, it's from the previous video. We start with a fade in. A fade in, which is completely, absolutely nowhere near a fade out. Fade out, bad. Fade in, decent. So it's basically just slowly fading in what we're having. We're having a synth doing a couple of arpeggios. Arpeggios, once again, is when you play a chord one note at a time. And I think we had a little bit of melody. Let's see. Oh, I see what's going on. So it's not... For a second, I thought there was delay. Delay is an effect used... It's a type of echo. Which is basically the sound form gets repeated after a certain delay. So it sounds like an echo from... You know, there's a difference between the echo you get in a concert hall as the echo versus the echo you get on a mountain, like on a mountain range, right? So delay is like the echo you get at the Grand Canyon. Like, you yell and after a moment you hear that back. When you're in a concert hall, it just sounds like a massive empty building, right? So that's the difference. So delay is like if you're in a canyon, and the other one is reverb. Reverb is to give the echo as if you were in a concert hall, something like that. So, we're starting with it, and it wasn't either of them. What we are having is, it's not quite call and response. Because call and response is one instrument does one thing, and the other one replies, kind of having a conversation. What we are doing right now is that the first synth, the main one, that is going up, it goes down and then back up. And while it goes down, there is a second synth that just goes up a little bit. And, like, every time the main synth goes down, the other synth goes up to give this sense of almost an echo, not quite really. It's a different instrument. It's a very, very lovely sound that we're getting. Fairly complex. So... Let's see. Correct, French fries, correct. Alright, yes, we had another synth, and now we are introducing the motif. We had another synth give us like this. So this whole thing was an intro. And now we have... the motif. The motif being the smallest version of our musical idea, the seed from which everything else comes from. And by the way, I have been playing Vintage Story, like I started playing into the weekend. Unbelievably addictive game. It's what Minecraft should have been, in my opinion. So, Potato, welcome to the day. How you doing? Really, really good. And yeah, the sound that we just heard, that synth, reminds me a lot of Stardew Valley for some reason. So, yeah. Yeah, let's see where this goes. Very lovely. Very lovely. Yeah, so there you go. So the motif, I like this. Something that we're doing over here is that we're also not giving you the full melody every time. We are splicing the melody and delivering it over time. So let's say the overall melody is this, right? Like, let's say that this is the full melody and that's how it's developed and everything. And what we are doing is we are giving you a little bit here, then here, then we are tracking the rest, and we're just separating the melody little by little by little. And then once we've done the whole thing, we give you the whole thing. That's what's happening. This is a somewhat uncommon thing. What's up, Zelnick? This is a somewhat uncommon method of delivering your melody, because mainly it's because of how long it takes to do this, because you end up extending the time by a lot. But you also have the whole concept of you risk the listener not understanding that it's part of the same melody. That is the other risk that you have with this. So, song you'll be happiest to hear in the winter ends, because winter is tough. You're still not. Oh yeah, like I've been playing it. I'm on spring still, and it's such a lovely melody. So yeah, let's continue. So yeah, that was the first part. And there you go. Now we have the full melody, and the way that we highlighted, because the way that it was delivered the first time was fairly hidden, because the synth was kind of muddled, like kind of muddied with the other ones that were going on. Like the tone was very overlapping, had a lot of overlap with the other stuff that was already going. So how do we solve this when we really want to bring the melody to your attention now to the foreground? We do a doubling. We do a doubling, which we just had a second layer of it, playing it higher up. A little bit louder, but now we did a doubling. Doubling is, of course, a principle in orchestration and or instrumentation, which is picking the right instrument for the right reasons. And in this case, it's just that kind of bell-esque, like chime bell-esque feel that this synth has, that just makes you feel warm and fuzzy. So, really good. Really good. And hell yeah, Sensei, I appreciate it. Let's see. And Slave, I appreciate it. We introduced drums. Nice. So yeah, now each time we were doing, so before we were sprinkling in, we're still sprinkling in the melody, and what we are doing is we are doing a little bit of elongation. So what we are doing is, with all the, let me see, do I still have this shape? Yes, I do. So the way we are now connecting these disjointed bits of melody is that we're just taking the last note and we are elongating it so that it connects to the next part of the melody. And that is all we are doing. That's how we are holding together. So now the melody actually sounds like it's a single melody, because we are holding the last note, which is the first one of the next bit of the melody. And that's how we are connecting the whole thing. Eventually, we are going to get rid of these bits over here, and we are going to go back to the original shape of the melody altogether. And the cool thing is that we started treating each iteration of these as its own separate instance. So we started adding, or I guess they started adding more layers each time. So one time we added the drums, another one we added another synth for more adornments, for more like flair, that kind of thing. Everything to add just another couple of layers here and there. This is very beautiful. Let's see how it goes. Very chill, yeah. So yeah, another thing that we are doing now is we got rid of these longer notes, and instead of just bringing it back to that initial melody, we just started adding more notes. We just started adding little bits and pieces, little adornments, and little bits of flair, little bit of filler, so to speak. But in this case, we are actually adding it in a very beautiful way. So now what started as this very nice original shape, now is turning into this very complex, elongated, over time melody, and it's quite something. It's quite beautiful. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. Nice. Same idea. Now in the middle range. And now we removed elements one by one. So we removed the melody, then we started removing synths, every repetition of the accompaniment. And this is really good for transition. Because, well, there's no more melody. We now have space for a new melody. Or we have space to revisit the melody or redo things in a certain way. And considering the type of game and the type of music that this is, it is not a bad idea to have a little bit of space to just give the focus back to the accompaniment. Because the accompaniment of itself still has a good chunk of complexity to it, and it has it's a very, very lovely composition, even without the melody. So giving it a little bit of time so that you can actually stop and appreciate that, clever. Cheeky. Let's see. And there we go. Nice. Okay, so a slight change over here. So in the main melody, the main motif, we're still doing the same thing. We are still doing those very lovely flares, like just in between filler notes. And yes, this song does have a drone. This track, it's not a song, it's a track. So a drone, this is the first time we've done something with a drone. A drone is not the flying things we are used to right now. In music, a drone is simply usually a rhythmic instrument, a rhythmic thing, and something that holds down a chord, a note or chord, just entirely. And that is basically what we've been having up until this point. The bass has been holding a drone, and that just is... It sounds kind of like a hum. Yeah, this one sounds kind of like a hum. And right now it got lifted a little bit that we started doing a little bit more rhythmic stuff with what is called accents. So accents in music, as opposed to in real life, where it determines where you're from, accents are to accentuate rhythm. So in this case, an accent could be playing rhythmically in certain points, in certain times when the melody hits, which is exactly what is happening right now. We are having the bass and the drums hit in certain points where the melody is emphasized. And we took away the drone for that, to give it a bit more variation. And as a result, we still have this very complex melody going on, but now that we're adding these very small, subtle bits, it's just completely different. Let's see where it goes. And we did. I think this is the first time we have done a parallel modulation. So, when it comes to music, as I've mentioned before, you have three elements that build music: melody, harmony, and rhythm. Harmony is what chords you are using, how those chords interact with each other. And with each chord, and with each set of chords comes a key signature. The key signature just means what scale you're using, what chords come with that scale, that kind of thing. And when it comes to scales, you have two main types. You have relative scales and you have parallel scales. Parallel scales. So, what is the difference between a relative and a parallel scale? A relative scale is what scales you get if you take a scale and you start it from different points. A parallel scale is what happens when you start a scale on the same note, start and end on the same notes, but you change what is in between. Now, when it comes to harmony, when you change your key signature, that is what chords and what scale you are using, that is called modulation. And usually modulation is going to be relative. You are going to be modulating relatively to a different key signature, usually the key signature of one of the related chords. So let's take, for example, the signature of C major, right? The key of C major, which is just which is just the white keys of the keyboard. So we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Those are your notes that make the key of C major. So the chords that you get in C major are all the chords that you can get by combining the different notes in C major. However, if we wanted to modulate somewhere else, relative modulation would be if we wanted to go from C major to, let's say, G major. What is the difference between C major and G major? Just one note, right? So we have G, A, B, C, D, E, and F sharp. And then we go back to G, and that is G major. So if we modulate from C major to G major, we have to do a modulation, and we have like common chord modulations, we have common tone modulations. There are a bunch of different types of modulations that you can do, and the whole idea is that you are going from one of the notes, one of the chords, one of the notes that you were having your scales with, and just bringing a parallel scale from one of the other notes, or you can just go to a completely unrelated scale, something like that. But the point is that you are going somewhere else. Now, what just happened here is not that. Right now, we did... So yeah, C major, for example, C major is the relative scale of G mixolydian. Same notes, different starting points. However, C major and then F, G, A flat, and B flat. So here, C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, that is C major. C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, and B flat, that is the C parallel minor. The starting and ending notes are the same. We are just moving the notes in between. And what we did here was a modulation from the major to the parallel minor, which is very, very rare, extremely rare to do a modulation to a parallel scale, usually because of how unnatural it feels, because it's a very, very abrupt change that you can have. And right now it was done pretty well. It was done pretty well. And the difference, of course, between major and minor: major tends to sound very happy, very joyful, very giddy, and minor tends to sound a little bit more serious, a little bit more sad, that kind of thing. So it is interesting that in such a chill, lovely sounding piece so far, we went to the parallel minor to make it sound everything a little bit more sad. So let's see where it goes. I'm very interested. So yeah, the scale we are using, the chords we are using, overall the ideas are still the same. Overall the ideas are still the same. The big change we've had here has been that now it's on minor instead of major. It's insane. Let's see where this goes. Okay, this is very nice. So now we bring a... solo for one of the synths, but we are doing a fairly rare thing when it comes to solos. We are using previously used material, because a lot of these little bits that this keyboard is doing are bits that were used in between those parts of the motif, those little bits of flair, as well as using some parts of the motif for the solo. That is fairly rare for a solo. Usually solos are very free form. You can introduce as much new material as you want, and it doesn't really matter, because solos are usually more a display of a particular instrument or skill. And people usually don't care. And it's just very, very interesting to see how that is 2 conventions in a row that we've broken, and it's worked so well. Let's see where it goes. We bring in the piano, we bring down to just drums, 1 keyboard, piano, solo still, adding a couple more elements, and we're dancing. We are dancing between the minor and the major parallels, and we're using this solo section to bounce back and forth between the two. It's a very interesting thing, especially considering what spring is, right? Like, spring is a transitionary season, like fall. Fall doesn't take the full 3 months of the year. Fall is a very short season. Spring is a very short season as well. It's the transition between winter and summer, which would explain why we are getting these sounds. We are recalling winter while moving forward to summer with spring. And yeah, consider that, like, spring and fall, or autumn, whatever you want to call them, they are transitionary seasons. The whole point of those seasons existing is because it's the transition between summer and winter. Summer and winter are the 2 main seasons we have. It's wild, man. It's wild. Let's see where this goes. Alright, we bring in a few more elements. Fallen Song 2? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Oh, lovely. And every repeat, we are slowly making this synth holding just 1 chord. It's holding a chord very nice and steady. Kind of like a sunshine. So it's very, very good so far. I am surprised. Like, I started playing this game, but I hadn't paid attention to the soundtrack, because I usually don't pay attention to music. Horrible thing for me to say, right? And yeah, no, this is very wild. Maybe the fall track might have something like this. Let's see. Yeah, like, we're having this sunshine. And we are still kind of in this solo territory. This has been a very long solo section, which, you know, it's not uncommon for solo sections to be pretty long. But I like how all of these changes, all of these experimentations are happening here. None of the new material has been introduced anywhere else. Here is where we're introducing all of the new material, which is clever, especially if you end up hearing it again. Let's see. It's very soothing, yeah. A picnic? I would as well, yeah. If I left the house, yeah. Oh, we have some pan flute. We now moved to to electric guitar. We moved to clean guitar, which we went from the fully synthetic to the analog. We went from the fully digital to the analog with guitar, which, again, spring, change, transition, all of this, it just plays really, really, really well. And very nicely. Vintage Stories of Masterpiece. I've played like 10 hours during the week, and it's incredible so far, yeah. Let's see. Probably more than 10 hours, but, you know. Alright, we're completely slowing down the acoustic guitar, which is playing similar notes, similar chords to what we had earlier. And now it's just this. Alright, Slay, I appreciate it. Have a good one. Thank you for hanging out. And now we brought the acoustic guitar. I was, for a second, I was like, so we had a clean electric guitar, and now we're off to the acoustic guitar. Once again comes the concept of instrumentation and orchestration. You pick the right instruments for the right tone, the right timbre, and the right psychological response. Acoustic guitar, always going to have this very down to the individual, casual, intimate moment kind of feel. It's always going to have that. You're by the campfire, you're playing a song, you're having an emotional, intimate moment, whether it is with yourself, with who you're around. Always the acoustic guitar is related to that kind of thing, which is a very beautiful thing. And now we went from the overall overarching season as a whole, and we've now changed the focus over back to the individual. And we've just brought that magnifying glass. We've changed the spotlight. We've focused now on this. This is beautiful, man. This is beautiful. Let's see where it goes. Same chords. We just changed the rhythm a little bit. Ah, beautiful. And on top of that, one of the it's two acoustic guitars. One of them is a 12-string guitar, by the way. 12-string just means similar structure, but there's 2 strings per string. It makes very little sense. Let me just show you. So a 12-string guitar, it will look a little bit weird, but this is how the strings are made. So you have 2 strings per string, basically. So instead of it being 12 unique strings, you play the 2 strings as if they were 1. It just adds more scale to it. It resonates a lot more that way. Stride, welcome today. How you doing? So yeah, no. When I say it's more strings per string, that's the concept of a 12-string guitar. It's instead of adding more strings spaced that way, how would you plug them individually? You always plug them in pairs. Yeah, you always play them in pairs. So in this case, these 2 strings are considered 1 string. They're tuned to be the same. They're the same tuning. They're just octaves apart. So it is going to sound. It sounds very lovely. It sounds very, very lovely. But yeah, it's just you get more strings per string with a 12-string, which is a slightly more advanced version, and it's something more that you see in like country music kind of thing, and in those environments. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So is that the Portuguese guitar? No, I don't know. I don't know about that, but so yeah, one of the guitars is that. And we're once again pushing through chords. Lovely. And we are doing the chord progression that we had during the solo. This is lovely. So we are doing a recapitulation of the intro. Basically a full recapitulation. We're basically just revisiting those ideas under the context and under the harmony of the solos. So we are still bouncing back and forth between the parallel major and the parallel minor, but now we're doing it more slower paced on a different instrumentation altogether. We still have that like chimey synth, and now we went from an electric drum kit to, you know, shaker, that kind of thing. So 12 strings, strung 6 chords. Okay, so it is a Portuguese guitar. Nice. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And then more guitars. Very interesting how we're just bouncing back and forth. I don't think the game is related to Portugal, no. Let's see. JT, welcome to today. How you doing? And Josel, welcome today. Oh man, those chords are just beautiful. And we do one last strum. We let that ring, and that's it. Oh my god. That was amazing, dude. There you go. That was Spring from the Vintage Story soundtrack. Have I found any lore? No, I found one merchant so far. The world is massive, dude. The world is massive. So yeah, I've only found one merchant so far. So yeah, I've been playing this game recently. It's incredibly good. It's what I wanted Minecraft to be. To turn into. It's beautiful. So there you have it. That was Spring from the Vintage Story original soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA Layman-Friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, and I hope I have explained things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. If you're watching this in the video archive, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications. Become a member, one of them paid subscriptions, support the channel further with that. And of course, if you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3 seconds, I will be linking it down below in the description. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord and go to the LFA requests channel and follow the instructions on the pinned message. You can always join the bribe list. If you give $5 or more, I think the YouTube thing is super thanks. I think that's the paid comments. If you give more than $5, you go into the bribe list, and you get priority for that. It is pay to win, so consider that. And of course, if you want to catch the streams live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you want to know what that is in your local time zone, go to the Twitch channel or the Discord. They both have the stream schedules in your local time zone. And yeah, there you go. Follow the channel, follow the gaming channel. We have a gaming channel, Games Are Bastard. Same username, swap the J for a G. I'll be linking it down below, hopefully. And there you go. There you go. And that was Spring from Vintage Story. Very, very lovely. Very, very good stuff, man. But yeah, let's move on.